is that all citizens need to be involved, because policy sounds like it's kind of far off and doesn't have anything to do with us, but the laws and the rules and the judgments made by government affect our lives every day. And if we don't have an active role in letting those who represent us know what we think is important, we may not like what those policies are.
Right.
Another reason, particularly for women, is that most of the representatives still are men. And not any fault of theirs, but we live in a society that is really very male-dominated. The entertainment system, the educational system, the legal system, every system you can name in our society is dominated by male thinking. All the history books we ever read is really men's history, it's not women's history. So men and women alike have lived in this society dominated by male thought. So it's very important for women to express our opinions to our lawmakers, male and female, because we've all grown up in this society and we need women's opinions and expression of what we think are priorities to get to the folks that are making the rules and the laws, or else it's going to be a very, very male-dominated set of laws.
Absolutely. Ann Mackey, we thank you so much for taking the time to share this information with us. And we thank you for founding such a wonderful coalition, an opportunity for women to unite and help shape public policy.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much, Sonia.
Thank you. We'll be back with more on North Carolina Women United after these messages.
With 45 seconds in the break.
Okay. Today's show focuses on a coalition designed to help women fully achieve political, social, and economic equality. And joining me now are two representatives from NC Women United, Jina Dhillon, President of the coalition, and Tara Romano, first Vice President. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, we heard from Ann Mackey, the founder of this organization, in the first segment of the show, and we're talking about those assemblies from previous years and all the important issues that were raised. Tell us a little bit, Tara, about this upcoming assemblies.
Well, for the assemblies that we're going to be having in the fall, we are going to be doing a similar format like we have in the past, but we are we always try to update how we do the assemblies to recognize that there are different ways that people can network and do advocacy, like in terms of social media, things that before it used to be like you could write letters, but now we have email, and there's a lot of different ways, and we want to tap into those creative ways that people can do advocacy. I mean, I think that's one of the benefits of bringing women together in these different counties, in addition to what Ann mentioned about educating them about policies and telling them, this is how you can be an effective advocate. We can also tap into some creative energy that people have around how they can advocate. You get a group of women together and they start talking about these ideas, and they start to think of ways that, this is, we need to maybe bring this more into focus for our representative. How can we do that? And here are some ways that we can really demonstrate to them that this is an issue that we're all concerned about, and this is how we want to bring that to the representatives. So we're going to be doing some of that. We're also going to be doing, because it's a fairly big election year,
Absolutely.
and we are going to be doing some get out the vote initiatives as well, because we do figure that women who are coming to these assemblies are probably already pretty actively involved, but it never hurts to remind anyone that it's our right as citizens to vote, to take part in this process. So we want to make sure that they know all about the early voting, and if they need to register, and anything about anything that's going on in their districts, like what they need to do so that they can make sure they get out and vote as well. And that's going to be part of the assemblies this year.
Okay. And what are some of the topics that you expect to discuss?
So our agenda assemblies are guided by a document that NC Women United puts together called the Draft Agenda. And this is a compilation of position papers that are written by our member organizations, and they span topics ranging from access to health care to civic participation and equality, promoting economic self-sufficiency, and ending violence against women. So this year we're going to feature topics including things like ensuring access to preventive health care, protecting and expanding access to long-term care, promoting civic participation by, encouraging voter engagement and education. Topics on affordable housing and childcare are really important. Education policy is really important right now in particular. So those are some of the substantive issues that women will become more educated on. They can invite speakers from our member organizations to come and speak about those issues and how they're impacting the women in North Carolina in particular.
And let's talk a little bit about the logistics and what a person can expect if they come to an assembly. How does it work?
Well, the assemblies, we do try to give the counties, we give them a building book to say these are the basics of it, but we want to give them some flexibility to do whatever works best in their county. So it is generally about 3 or 4 hours, a lot of times on a Saturday morning and sometimes on a weeknight, and that's a fair chunk of time of your free time to spend. So we want to make sure that they're very interactive. Like, we will have speakers. Some counties will have more speakers than others. They can speak about the different topics that Jina mentioned. They can also maybe do some education around how to be a really effective advocate. We can talk to them about the legislative process in general and what it means to be a legislative advocate. But we also spend a lot of time, as Ann mentioned, in the small group discussions, and that's where we want women to really get into the meat of these ideas. In addition to sort of debating back and forth what ways to best address these, like Ann mentioned, we want to give women an opportunity to practice their voice, because it really, when you see your rep for the first time, that may not be the first time you want to put out, hey, this is how I want my message, because your rep is going to say, I've got 3 minutes, maybe, or 5 minutes, and so we want to make you sure that you feel confident, and so you'll have a lot of time in the small group discussion, and then we do have, at the end of the small group discussion, it's something we do voting. Now, it's not like we're saying these are going to be our top issues and the rest are just nobody's interested in. Because we understand that we of course can't say this is what represents all women in North Carolina. All women are not a monolith. We know that we all have different issues that are important to us. So what we're asking the participants to do is after they've had these discussions and they've talked about these issues, sort of commit to themselves 3 to 5 issues that they would really like to follow throughout the long session of the General Assembly. Like, I'm going to be hooked into organizations that follow these issues. I'm going to try and call my representative to talk about these issues when some bills come up. And these are the ones that I want to commit to, because we all have limited time and resources, and we want to maybe address all of these things, but we can't. So we realistically want people to sort of just commit to ones that they feel are most important to them. And that's what we talk about with the voting. And so that's the basics of the assembly.
And in terms of the interaction with your lawmakers? Is that, I know you have a day at the General Assembly where you present the issues